Aloha, this is Randy Kosaki. I'm NOAA's research coordinator for Papahānaumokuākea. As you can see behind me, we're passing Mokumanamana on our way home from Lalo, or French Frigate Shoals. I'm also a crew member for this voyage here on Hōkūleʻa, and the purposes for this voyage are manifold. Primarily, it's for training the next generation of navigators in traditional Polynesian and Hawaiian style. It's about perpetuating an ancient art form and making sure that it never comes as close to extinction when we were down to one navigator named Mao. On higher levels, this really is about preparing our navigators and our society at large for the future. It's about coming to a very, very special place, a place that has a lot of mana and a lot of wisdom, and we come to learn from that, to learn about our past, and maybe more importantly, to learn about how that can ensure a sustainable future for this planet. One of the many things that we're very concerned about for Papahānaumokuākea and its coral reefs are the impacts of climate change, which includes rising sea surface temperatures, which causes coral bleaching, and an increased frequency and severity in major storms and hurricanes. In 2018, Lalo took a direct hit from what was a Category 3 to 5 hurricane, Hurricane Walaka. And we've had very limited time because this is such a remote area, it's very difficult to access. So really there have been very, very few surveys done since the hurricane. This is the first time we were able to survey some of the lagoonal areas. So what we found in a nutshell is near complete destruction of some of the outer reefs. Some of the most beautiful reefs in Hawaii were wiped off the face of the earth by this storm. We found intermediate levels of disturbance and destruction inside the lagoon. And in the more sheltered areas of the lagoon, we were really relieved to find that essentially 100% of the corals have survived. So the bad news, of course, is climate change and increased frequency of hurricanes and their destruction, which we saw firsthand. The good news, though, the silver lining, if you will, is that 2 years later, we see dozens and dozens of keiki, like juvenile corals that have recruited since the hurricane, indicating that this reef has taken its first major step towards recovery. And the take-home message there is that in the absence of other human anthropogenic impacts, coral reefs and nature in general, left to themselves, can recover from these impacts. We just need to give them the space and time to do it. And in the inner circles of the lagoon, we found such beautiful coral reefs. These are the equivalent of old-growth forests. These are the old-growth forests of the coral reef. 15, 20-foot wide table corals that are decades old. They've seen many hurricanes, they've seen coral bleaching events, and yet they have survived. And so whether it's through good genetics or more likely good geography that they were just in sheltered parts of the lagoon, these are the parts of the lagoon, these are the survivors that will repopulate the rest of the reef with the keiki, with juvenile corals in the aftermath. And so this is the source of replenishment. These reefs are the future of not only this reef, but reefs worldwide. If we can find some places in nature that we leave alone to take care of themselves, they will in turn take care of us. So it's a reciprocal relationship with the ocean, whereby we take care of the ocean and it in turn cares for itself and cares for us in doing so. And so this voyage has given me so much hope. First, that the young generation is stepping up, not just as navigators, but as navigators with values and a mission. The mission is sustainability. And also that coral reefs do indeed have the thing called resilience, that in the face of all of these impacts from climate change, if we give these reefs enough space and let nature run its course, they will recover. It may be a decade or two before these reefs look like what they used to, but they're well on their way to replenishing themselves, if you will. So we care for these reefs, and they will help to replenish our coral reefs, and maybe more importantly, they'll help to replenish our souls in terms of how we treat this planet, how we view this planet, and how we view our relationship with the ocean in general. And so these are the kind of things we come to Papahānaumokuākea to learn. It truly is a source of wisdom, and you combine that, modern science, ancient navigation, ancient values, and this is going to help us chart a sustainable course into the future. And so Papahānaumokuākea is at once our classroom and the greatest natural laboratory in the world. To follow this voyage and for regular updates on this voyage, go to hōkūleʻa.com.